Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. I hope you're all having a great day. Tomorrow, many of us could be felons, according to the ATF. I know a lot of people have some questions about this brace situation, so I do want to get into it and provide some updates. There's been a ton of content coming down the pipeline, and there's a lot of news to share. I'm going to try to get kind of straight to the bullet points and keep it short and sweet and let you guys get back to your day. It's not the end of the world, I promise. There is some light at the end of the tunnel, so bear with me. Give me a few minutes of your time, and we'll go over a few things. Before we get started, I would like to thank our friends at CMMG. You guys know that some of their guns are absolutely meme-worthy. Of course, the Mark 47 is an epic gun that absolutely eats everything you throw in it. If you're looking for something like that, I mean, they have their Descent line. They've got some really awesome guns. We've done a ton of videos on CMMG's various platforms over the years. They've always held up well. We actually did a really detailed torture test on their 22 conversion kit that turned out amazing. You guys should check that out. Really cool stuff. And a big shout out to CMMG. If you use the code IV8888, you can receive yourself a nice discount if you choose to do business with CMMG. So big thanks to them for supporting our efforts and being true to the OGs in the 2A advocacy world. You know, they definitely put their money where their mouth is, and they support the people that support your rights. So big shout out to CMMG, and a big thanks for supporting our channel. Okay, this news comes out of FPC. I'm not going to read the entire article. I mean, you're all big boys and girls, because this one, you know, it goes into a bit of detail, but I just want to give you the bullet points here. All right, and this is from Friday, May 26th. The Fifth Circuit clarifies that its injunction against the ATF pistol brace rule covers FPC's members. So you know that there's a pending lawsuit with the ATF with both GOA and FPC, and it looks like FPC and the Fifth Circuit got themselves a nice little injunction here, and it covers FPC's members. Now, look, don't shoot the messenger, okay? I know what it feels like to have gun groups ask for money from you, or to ask for membership dues or something like that, and you think, well, what in the heck are these people doing? And, you know, where does my money go? What am I getting out of the deal? You know, and then there's some of us that, like, you know, hey, we're going to join various gun groups. I'm an FPC member. Of course, I'm the GOA state director here in Georgia. But many people get involved at many different levels in what ways they can. So it's easy to get reeled into, well, these people are just trying to get money out of me. But look, at this situation, they were granted an injunction. It went through the Fifth Circuit. So see, that's your membership dollars being put to work for you. So I would strongly recommend that if you own a braced pistol, or even if you don't own a braced pistol, I would join FPC, and I would also, now look, I'm biased here because I'm the Georgia State Director for GOA, but we'd love to have you at GOA as well, because there is another case pending that, you know, obviously has not gone through in time for the brace ruling to take effect. However, it probably is going to be granted a nationwide injunction for GOA's members as well. So if you want to kind of, you know, harden yourself up a bit, I would strongly recommend, if you can, you know, spare the money, I would join FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition, and I would also join GOA. If you do want to join GOA, you can use my link below. I receive absolutely zero compensation in connection with you joining GOA. All that money goes right to the fight. All that link is for them to know that I sent you. That's it. I receive zero compensation. I will not take money from a gun rights organization. I want that money in the fight. All right, so today, Firearms Policy Coalition released a statement on the Fifth Circuit's order clarifying that the injunction pending appeal applies to FPC's members, Maxim Defense's customers, and the individual plaintiffs' residents' family members. The order, along with case documents, can be viewed at fpclaw.org. And of course, I'll read a little bit more, but I'm not going to read the entire thing. FPC challenged ATF's administrative rule that seeks to reclassify braced pistols as short-barreled rifles. In doing so, the rule would transform millions of peaceable people into felons overnight simply for owning a firearm that has been lawful to own for a decade, unless they either destroy their constitutionally protected property or comply with the NFA's erroneous and unconstitutional requirements. And of course, I'll put this link below if you want to read the full statement, but there's a lot of supporting links and things that you can look into everything that they're talking about here. But great job on FPC's part. So the ATF took to Twitter, as they always do. I'm just going to pull it up real quick on my phone. I actually meant to print this tweet, and I forgot to do it. But so ATF made a post the other day about the brace situation. Let's see. It's right here. Okay. So this is literally just from yesterday. All right. Today's the 31st. This is from the 30th. All right. According to the ATF, it says your options to comply with the ATF final rule 2021 R-08F, F as in Foxtrot. Remove the short barrel and attach a 16-inch or longer rifled barrel. Permanently remove and dispose of the brace. Turn it in, destroy it, or register it tax-free. And of course, the tax-free option is scheduled to be discontinued May 31st, which is today. Okay, so what does this really mean at the end of the day, right? If the injunction covered you as an FPC member and ultimately as a GOA member, once we get the other injunction, which I believe is in the Sixth Circuit Court, if I'm not mistaken, there's so many things going on. I'm not going to try to get into every little crunchy detail, but I'm trying to hit the high points here. Okay, that's what the ATF is saying you can do. Now, look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here to give legal advice, okay? There's plenty of people on YouTube that are lawyers, and they're quite good at what they do, and they get into the legal minutia of this whole thing, but I'm just looking at it as General Joe Blow, right? Now, here's the thing. You get into all of this hang-ups about constructive possession, constructive intent, right? What constitutes an SBR that's laying in a bin versus they're saying a braced pistol in your gun safe as of tomorrow, you'll be a felon according to them. Well, Stephen Dittelbach in the congressional hearing literally told Congress that all you had to do was remove the brace and you would be in compliance. Now, that either means that he's in contempt of Congress and is lying, which is perjury, by the way, and is a felony to lie to Congress, okay, under oath, or he was just mistaken and just gave the wrong advice or gave the wrong recommendation based on his misunderstanding of the rules. I mean, we would like to think that Stephen Dittelbach, if he is the director of the ATF, he should know this brace rule in and out. I mean, by the way, it also carries a full weight of imprisonment, death, or anything in between, right? We're talking 10 years in the federal pen, $100,000 fine. I mean, they don't play around when it comes to this kind of stuff. So you would think that something that carries such weight of law, such a punishment, such a criminal punishment, that the ATF director would be crystal clear in what you can and cannot do to be in compliance with this particular rule. I just find that very odd that Stephen Dittelbach said one thing, yet the ATF themselves, by their own admission as of yesterday, says a completely different thing, that removing the brace simply isn't enough, that you must destroy it or somehow render it inoperable. I would not recommend you do any of those things. Here's the thing. All right, look at it from the constructive intent, constructive possession lane. All right, if the ATF is saying that you can remove the brace and be in compliance, well, what is still on the pistol most of the times, right? The buffer tube, the buffer extension. And look, nobody's talking about this. And what gets me is I can't believe all these lawyers haven't figured this out or mentioned it, right, from a technological standpoint. You might recall that early on, right, the ATF was being all, they're being all weird about, let's say, a pistol having a rifle buffer on it, a buffer tube, that has, the rifle lock positions for a rifle stock, right? And they were trying to say, well, if you have a pistol with a rifle buffer on it, that is enough to be considered constructive intent. So why isn't the ATF telling people, why is Stephen Dittelbach saying that you can pull the brace off and, you're magically in compliance? Well, here's the thing. You show me a single gun person, especially that messes with ARs, that doesn't have a random buttstock laying around or a random M4 hanger they threw off. I mean, you all do it, right? You get your Magpul upgrade, you put the Magpul stock on there, and you take the old, regular M4 stock and throw it in a bin in case you might need a stock in the future. Well, is that to say that by Dittelbach's own admission that removing the brace, you're good to go? All right, but what if the ATF somehow goes through your house and they go, well, here's a stock and here's a pistol with a rifle buffer on it. Oh, we're going to try to ping you by saying, well, there's constructive possession here because you have a stock and a device on your AR pistol that can accept a stock, even though the brace may not be in this equation anymore. What if you just destroyed the brace? Are they saying that by having an AR rifle in your possession or even parts in a bin that's somehow constructive possession? And there's not really been a whole lot of line of questioning forwarded to the ATF in that regard. I'm actually surprised that Congress didn't ask these questions. Well, look, they can't ask everything. I get it. But there are some glaring small technicalities that need to be administered here. What I would recommend. Okay, so really the glaring question, what do I do? What should I do as a gun owner who owns a braced pistol of some sort? Look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not telling you what to do and what not to do. I'm telling you what I would do. If I'm right, I'm right. That's fine. But here's the thing. All right. You can't be pinged for constructive possession or constructive intent if you don't possess the dang item in question. Right? So what I would do is pull the dang brace off. If the AR has a rifle tube on it that the brace slipped on, the SB3 or whatever it might have been, take it off. Okay? If you have a parts bin somewhere in your house that's got a bunch of AR parts, take the rifle extensions and take the stocks and the braces and put them in a box and get them off your property. That's what I would do. That's my suggestion. Okay? If it ain't there, it ain't there. That's the way I look at it. Whether or not you choose to destroy the brace is up to you. But at the bottom line is, if they come to your house and those items ain't at your house, they don't exist. Now, whatever you decide to tell them, whatever the case, but the bottom line is, if it ain't there, it ain't there. So if you're really worried about it, that's the route I would take. Now, obviously, most of you should already be an FPC member, which you are covered under the Fifth Circuit injunction nationwide. Just to clarify, you have to join FPC. Do it today. And join GOA, because you'll be covered under these injunctions. And it never hurts to have some additional layers of security. Now, you think about, all right, well, how should you deal with law enforcement if someone comes to your home? If an ATF agent knocks on your door, I know you've seen all of these videos, right? Where, they're trying to collect force reset triggers, or they're trying to, inquire about certain things that you might have. Or there's even been situations where they say, well, we saw that you we had a multi turned in on you where you bought multiple handguns. We just need to verify that you actually still possess these handguns, because maybe they think you're trying to run some gun running operation, or whatever their justification is. Okay, you open the door and there's law enforcement on your doorstep. Well, the first thing that I would do, and this is just me, is just be like, look, y'all have a warrant. I mean, like if they don't have a warrant, it's just a visit. Like there's no real thing they can do without a warrant. So again, like the less you say, the better. Like I would just be like, look, I don't want to have this conversation with you. And if you don't have a warrant, then we have nothing to discuss, and just leave it at that. Or what I would strongly suggest is if they're knocking at the door, simply don't answer. If they have a warrant, trust me, they will knock in a very different way if they have a warrant. But you always have the option of just not answering the door. I would avoid any and all confrontation with them at any turn. Trust me, if they have a warrant, that you'll know. But here's the thing. I find it to be highly unlikely that they would be able to get a warrant for some of the things that they're claiming they're going to go after people about. And I don't want people to be complacent in this situation. However, I do want you to keep in the back of your mind that I think the way the ATF is going to kind of treat this, if you even look at it like enforcement, see, the injunctions already throw a really major wrench in the plans. Plus, the Supreme Court just weighed against, all right, remember that EPA case that I was talking about not too long ago about the fishermen and all? Remember we covered that? Well, the Supreme Court took away the administrative power from the state, and they ended up saying, yes, it is abusing the administrative state's power to require fishermen to pay someone to be on their boat and to pay for these tracking devices and everything like that, essentially saying that the EPA abused Chevron deference and that it overreaching with their authority. So that same rulemaking process, the Chevron deference sort of rulemaking loophole, if you will, or whatever you want to treat it, the ATF's days are numbered when it comes to a variety of different things, not just the brace rule, but the bump stock rule, the frame and receiver rule, maybe even the NFA completely when it's all said and done. So this is going to be pretty interesting in a post-Bruin landscape, in a post-EPA Supreme Court decision landscape. And then we've got not only one, but a Sixth Circuit injunction that's coming down, plus, our GOA lawsuit. So I think they know that their days are numbered when it comes to them being able to go through this. Congress doesn't seem to have a care in the world when it comes to try to not only pass pro-gun legislation, but also anti-gun legislation. So while it sucks that it's hard to get pro-gun legislation to move in the Congress, as much as that sucks, there also ain't no anti-gun legislation going through the Congress either. So I think that people in general, a larger subset of people, are now kind of figuring that, that the support is not there for gun control in terms of like assault weapons bans or magazine restrictions or carry restrictions. And there's already been a lot of good data that's coming down the pipeline when it comes to constitutional carry, and the crime rates in those states steadily are on the decline once they've achieved their constitutional carry. So, I mean, you have more states now that are constitutional carry than ever before. You've got a post-Bruin landscape, which changes things drastically. The burden of proof is now on the government to provide historical context for their gun control, right? So it's an interesting landscape. So would I go throwing away every brace that I own? Well, look, here's the thing. If it ain't on your property, then, possession is 9/10 of this, right? You can't be dinged for constructive possession if you don't possess the item in question. I would clean up your workshop a little bit. If you have some random parts laying around, I'd probably police a few choice parts up and, dispose of them however you see fit. Maybe not permanently dispose of them, but I would definitely remove them off your premises. Let's just put it that way. Because if it ain't there, then they're you know what I mean? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm definitely not saying turn your gun in. I'm definitely not saying destroy your property that you own legally. But I would join GOA. I would join FPC and get in the fight and get covered by the injunction. And again, what I wanted to mention is also on the enforcement side. Getting back to that. Sorry, I didn't finish my thought there. Lots of coffee this morning. I'm trying to be quick here. Let you get back to your day. But okay, so on the enforcement side, so what could the ATF actually do, right? Well, on one end of it, okay, say that you commit a crime and you have a braced pistol in your possession. Chances are now, with this brace rule in effect, regardless of the status of the injunction, right? Let's just say you committed a crime and you have that item in your possession. It's going to be a tack-on charge. They're going to take that gun and they're going to go, oh, well, you got a brace. Now that's an extra 10 years, an extra $100,000 fine, and they're going to use it for a plea bargain. They're going to use it to tack on. They love to do that when they catch someone doing something. So I think that's how they're going to treat it, as a tack-on charge. Are they going to be going door to door and trying to mess with people? I mean, you're probably going to see some localized weaponization of the ATF in that regard. Yeah, probably so. Is that going to say that, there's like 5,500 field agents that they're going to, go door to door like it's, freaking Auschwitz or something like that, or it's a freaking, Jew ghetto in World War II? No, they're not. They don't have that kind of manpower. But it doesn't mean that if you get pulled over in an anti-gun jurisdiction, like say you're in a major city and a cop goes, oh, that's one of those brace guns that the ATF keeps talking about. And then they call out a local field agent. And then the field agent comes over and goes, yep, this is a brace pistol. That just means they're going to tack that charge on additionally. So, it's a meaningless platitude that the ATF is trying to deliver to Biden, because this is because of, executive order. He passed an executive order or signed an executive order to do this. It just doesn't hold any water. So let's just hope that these injunctions hold, and that, maybe they aren't stupid enough to actually start going, en masse over to people's houses and messing with them over this, because I just don't really see that ending well for anybody. I think that's a bad idea no matter how you cut it. People are going to get hurt if that happens. I just foresee it, right? I would, again, suggest not answering the door unless they have a warrant. And if you don't have something in your possession, you don't have something in your possession. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I'm not telling you what to do or how to handle it, but if it don't exist, then they can't mess with you about it. So take that for how you will. I'm going to let you read between the lines on that, how you want to handle that. But anyway, great work on FPC's part, GOA's part. I wanted this video to be short, but you know, sometimes I kind of ramble. But I really appreciate y'all watching. Thanks so much. Hopefully this points you in the right direction, gives you something to, you know, kind of hold on to. I mean, look, there is light at the end of the tunnel. This thing is going to go our way in the long run. Don't worry. It's being fought out legally, and I think that we're gonna see a positive outcome for us on this. So thanks so much. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you soon.